Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the True Blue Podcast. I am your host, Zachary Sucardi. You could find me on Instagram at True Blue Podcast. It is Saturday night, June 10th. I had a delicious turkey burger that I grilled this evening. I also had an egg over hard on it, and it was fucking amazing. I had some sweet potato fries. Feeling pretty good about that meal. It was really good. Had a good night. Played some records. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like was just alone with my music and with my food and hung out with my dogs. So that was great. We're going to get into the self-care tip. I'm going to give you 8 ways to increase self-love. And then we're going to get into music later from Tool. Like I said, I had a turkey burger tonight. You know, introducing an egg on a hamburger, I don't know when that started, but yeah, it's some genius shit. Some genius shit. You know, I didn't buy any lettuce, tomato, onion. I kind of forgot. And I went to the grocery store tonight. I was like, fuck, man, I don't want just a plain old turkey burger. So I put an egg on that fucker, and it was delicious. Delicious. So my friend's son came over last week. His name is Moses. Shout out to him. And I have a bunch of cassettes on my wall. Probably like 250, something like that. And he goes, "Are these little movies?" And my heart melted. I'm going to pause for a minute because I'm going to let it melt again. And I thought, no, those are cassettes. Well, no, I thought that is amazing. And then I said, no, those are cassettes. They're like tapes. And I told him when I was growing up, that's what it was. You know, that was the popular medium. And he was really interested in them. He picked out some random ones. And then he asked if he could borrow one because he said he had a boombox. So I lent him Beastie Boys' License to Ill. So that felt amazing because, like, that's all I want to do in life is just spread the love, spread music. You know, and he's a young kid. He's 10 years old. And he's asking me about fucking cassette tapes. Pretty awesome. So I lent him a Beastie Boys tape, like I said. I'm excited to hear his feedback. I was at the gym the other day, and I'm in the sauna. The sauna is in the fucking men's room. It's kind of wiggity. They used to be co-ed, which was much nicer. You know, see some pretty ladies, you know, chat them up, you know, just whatever. It makes the time go by. Instead, it's in the fucking locker room with all the naked dudes. It's terrible. And I'm sitting in the sauna, and I could see out in this YOLO, which is what I call the younger generation. He fucking starts puffing his, like, vape pen. And I just started laughing to myself. I thought, man, these kids puffing their vape pens. It was just hilarious. He had like a stupid looking mustache and stuff, and he's doing his vape pen. I didn't care at all. I'm not offended, nothing like that. But it just made me laugh. I go, man, we've come a long way. We've come a long way with like what's okay. And I know that's not okay, and he just was doing it anyway. But it just kind of made me laugh, vaping in the fucking men's locker room. So I went to a poetry reading the other night, and it was great. So I'm looking on my phone because I want to start reading my poetry in, like, I guess public, you'd say. You know, at these poetry readings or contests or whatever. They call them slams, which is kind of wiggity. I like grand slams at Denny's, but I don't know about poetry slams. But that's what they call them, poetry slams. So I looked it up on my phone, and it was going on that same night. And I got dressed and went out. And that's a win because it could be, like, I easily could have just been like, oh, I'll go next time. But I said, fuck it, I want to check this out. So I went, and it was excellent. It was really cool, just hearing all the different poets. It had a bit of a Geeks Who Drink kind of like trivia vibe because it was at a brewery. And I've never been to any of those really, but my friend, he does karaoke, and I would go with him to karaoke. And it kind of has like a nerd. There's a certain scene that happens at these bars with these sort of like theme nights and shit. And they attract a lot of nerdy people. Good people, though. I'm not trying to play hate. But it was a lot of fun. And one of the poets had a poem about his Uncle Jim, who was from New Jersey and is a white dude. This guy was Hispanic. And I have an Uncle Jim who lives in New Jersey and who is white. So I went up to this guy after and told him about that, and it was pretty cool. And then there was another poet there named Brando. And my friend out here is named Brando, and it wasn't him. So sometimes God will let you know that you're in the right place with these little cues and clues and hints. And this was it. I thought, okay, yeah, I'm in the right place. So I'm going to go to an open mic night and sort of like read my poetry, and I'm excited. I'm taking it to the next level. I'm working on a poetry book. You know, I have some friends who I'm going to send some poems to, and they They've agreed to like draw up like their interpretation of it, and I'm gonna get stickers made from their drawings, which I love. I love the idea of involving a visual aspect and involving my friends who are artists. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I really am doing poetry and expressing myself and just having having a like a performance aspect to it is kind of exciting to me because I wrote these poems and I know let me think here, how I intend them to come across. So for me to be able to read them in the cadence, the inflection, the tone that I want to is pretty exciting. And then just to meet other poets, you know. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to report back to this podcast and let you know how my open mic night poetry reading shit goes. Let's see what else has been going on. You know, I've had a lot of people in my come back into my life via text message, via social media, with DMs and other sorts. It's fascinating how you think about people, certain people, and they kind of just show up. It's amazing. It's like we're all connected. It's like we're all looking at the same moon. We're all feeling the same rays from the sun, you know? And when you think of certain people, and then it's amazing. One of my friends, she was like, yeah, this person just all of a sudden texted me. We haven't talked in months. And then that happened to me with 3 people in the last week. So sometimes they come back. Sometimes they come back. That's all I can say about that. Well, let's do this. Let's get into the self-care tip. All right, I got this tip on Instagram from Self-Care Visuals. 8 ways to increase self-love. Number 1, monitor your self-talk and it's negative. And if it's negative, correct it. Let me read that again. Monitor your self-talk and if it's negative, correct it. That's a biggie. If you're dogging yourself, if you're saying, oh, I suck, I this and that, it's going to be the truth. So monitor that shit on the real. Like, monitor it. Don't talk to yourself. Imagine you are someone else. Imagine there's like a young kid inside of you and you were talking to him like that. If you heard someone else talking to someone else like that, especially a youngster, you'd be like, yo, what the fuck? So why is it any different than talking to yourself like that? So monitor your self-talk. And if it's negative, correct it. Just correct it. Number 2, use daily affirmations to remind yourself of your worth. That's great. I'm a big quote guy. I love quotes. Big on quotes. Look up a quote. There's apps out there. You know, there's all kinds of shit on the internet. You can get a quote emailed to you, texted to you. There's apps, whatever. And it's a great affirmation. There's another thing, too, where my friend was like, just tell yourself that you love yourself like at least like 100 times a day. Now, I can do like 10 or maybe like 20. And it really works. Because after a while, you start to get in this trance and you start to realize there's someone else in there that you're saying, I love you to. And it's you. It's just probably like a younger version of you. 8 ways to increase self-love. Number 3, be mindful of how social media affects you and filter your feed. Social media is all phony baloney. All phony baloney. And it can fuck you up because, you know, you see shit on there and it looks so great. And, oh, wow, these people's, they have wood floors and they're fucking on vacation. They're on the moon. You know, it looks so great. They're happy, blah, blah, blah. It's all fucking phony baloney. It's all facade. So be mindful how that affects you. Really. And then filter that shit. There's a lot of great things on social media that you can filter out. Or I should say, there's a lot of great features on social media that let you filter shit out. Which is important because I know I have a bunch of filters on mine. I don't want to see some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just negative for me. So be mindful of how it affects you. And realize it's not the real world. And another side note, if you have any friends who don't have social media, spend more time with them. All right, 8 ways to increase self-love. Number 4, Set healthy boundaries in your relationships. Do it. It's so important. If you feel you're being compromised, if you feel like you're putting too much into something, if there's a miscommunication, it's a healthy boundary, not just a boundary, but a healthy one. And again, it is self love. Boundaries are self love. I mention this all the time. I had no clue what boundaries were. I thought they were Canada, Mexico. Those are the boundaries within North America. But no, there's actually boundaries where you say, hey, that's not right. I don't deserve that. That can't happen again. 8 ways to increase self-love. Number 5, ensure all the people around you are positively influencing your life. Misery loves company. I mean, it loves it. Everyone's on the guest list when misery loves company. On the real. I have some people in my life who I love dearly, but sometimes they're so negative and they're almost getting to this contrarian kind of a attitude. So even offering any kind of advice, they're always ready to shoot it down. So you just listen. You just keep quiet and listen. So to be around positive folks, shout out to my friend Tommy. I was talking to him last night. We had a 3.5-hour conversation. And it was great. And he's just such a positive guy. So when I hang out with him and I hang out with my friend Kate, I feel like I'm renewed. I feel like I owe them a copay because I just get so much out of our connection. It's pretty special. So ensure all the people around you are positively influencing your life. 8 ways to increase self-love. Number 6, be kind to yourself, especially on bad days. On the really, kind of said with the first one, be good to yourself. Be kind, especially on bad days. Hold off the judgment. You're trying your best. You really are. Just be good to yourself. It's tough enough out there. You don't need to be dogging yourself. Number 7, challenge any judgmental beliefs and question what is fueling them. See, like I just said a minute ago, don't be judging yourself. Challenge that shit. And then, to see what's fueling them, to see what the motivation is. Check your motives. If you check your motives in a lot of areas, you'll sort of be able to redefine, refine, just alter how things are coming out. How, how you're, the conclusion that you're coming to. Challenge any judgmental beliefs. Just be easy on your fucking self. 8 ways to increase self-love. Numero ocho. Give yourself time to rest and do things you enjoy to avoid burnout. So this evening, I watched a show called Get Off My Lawn. It's like a comedy show. It's 2 hours. I wanted to read, do this podcast a little earlier. I wanted to write some poetry. But nah, I just chilled. I gave myself time just to rest. I was just on the couch, watching some boob tube. I wasn't avoiding burnout. I don't feel burnt out, but still, it's very poignant. Give yourself time to rest and do things you enjoy. Sometimes I get on this podcast and I read these tips and they're simple as fuck. And I think, well, duh, like last week there was one about sleep. It's like, of course you need sleep. But you know what? To hear it from someone else, from your boy, and sometimes it's the simplest words. One day I will find the right words and they will be simple. So that's it. Again, I got this from Self-Care Visuals, 8 Ways to Increase Self-Love. All right, let's get into the True Blue playlist. All right, so this song is from Tool, the band Tool. The song's called Anima, off their album Anima. It came out in 1997. This is the title track. It's pretty cool. It's like one of the last tracks on the album. Starts off with their singer Maynard sort of breathing in this sort of interesting rhythm. And then the guitar comes in with this repetitive riff. And then the drums start kind of and it's very hypnotic. Song's about 7 minutes. Lots of changes. Very progressive. Of course, great lyrics. A lot of beautiful changes, especially there's a part at the end where Maynard says, and I'm praying for rain, and I'm praying for tidal waves. I want to see the ground give way. I want to watch it all go down. But his voice is so beautiful in this song. Great song. I remember seeing this video as a kid. They had, when music videos were something in the fucking 90s. Excuse me. They had lots of crazy videos, Tool. This was one of them. And the lyric is, I'm praying for rain, I'm praying for tidal waves. I want to see the ground give way. I want to watch it all go down. Sounds kind of, bleak, but it has definitely a sense of humor in it. But very deep. Tool is very deep with their lyrics. They have a part of the song where he says, fuck retro anything, fuck your tattoos, fuck all you junkies, and fuck your short memories. Love that. And earlier he says, fuck L. Ron Hubbard, who's the guy from Scientology. Fuck all his clones. Fuck all these gun-toting hip gangster wannabes. So I guess, the Tool, I'm pretty sure is from L.A. and L. Ron Hubbard. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, it's fascinating. Fascinating shit. But a great song. And I was talking to my friend Buddy the other day, and he's like, I said, hey man, what song should I talk about? And he said, Tool, 46 and 2. And I said, okay, cool. But I chose Anima because it's a great song. Great song. I'm going to add it to the True Blue playlist. You can find it on Spotify, which you can get on Instagram. Go to True Blue Podcast. Go to the link in my bio, and you'll see the link for the True Blue playlist. Kind of a quick one. As I was doing this podcast, I started getting a little kind of tired. All tired. I'm like, all tired. So I'm going to finish this up, get it out, and then let's see. Tomorrow, I got church. I'm doing my fucking volunteer work. Going to the gym, going to swim some laps. Taking a drum lesson with my old drum teacher. Going to work on the fucking djembe. Pretty cool. I haven't taken a drum lesson in years, so that'll be a lot of fun. Then meeting with my friend. We're going to go to a movie, get dinner. It's going to be sweet. And then Monday, I got a massage, chiropractor. And then doing something else on Monday. I just can't remember. Anyway, that's kind of my next couple of days. Thanks for rolling with me. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying these summer nights. Sometimes they come back. True Blue Podcast. God bless everybody. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. Peace.